Thomas, congratulations.
Thank
We're
you.
up.
Thank you.
50% uptick almost in one day. Are people going to be questioning that this is a bit too good, too much money left on the table?
Well, my job isn't to opine on the fair market value. My job was to get this IPO off in a smooth fashion, and we have a great team here and company for doing that. And I take great comfort that the stock opened at 24,
Yep.
and it's trading smoothly right around that number. That's exactly what you want on the first day, especially of a large IPO.
Yeah, and give us what that heralds in terms of large IPOs, particularly technology IPOs. We know that many are looking towards the big private companies, whether it be Dropbox next, whether it's Spotify in Europe. Are you anticipating more tech IPOs for the New York Stock Exchange?
I think, first of all, if you go back a year ago, we had 0 IPOs at all in the first quarter of 2016. This is our 13th, I think, this year in the first quarter, and we have a whole bunch more coming in March and April. Very full calendar, unless something changes. It's not the big tech names, which is the premise of your question. I will tell you, I know firsthand, those big tech names are watching very closely what happens today, and it can alter plans, it can pull IPOs forward or backward. So look, as a person who runs a business that benefits from IPOs, I take comfort that this IPO was very smooth, and that they got what many describe as a healthy valuation.
So do you feel 2017 is going to be a year of yet more companies coming public, whether or not they be from tech or any of the others?
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. Listen, things can change.
Yeah.
Right. In August 24 of 2015 was a very volatile day, and the IPO market shut. So I'm not prognosticating. I'm just saying, again, the number of IPOs we have planning a particular date, plus those that are in process, is very, very high.
How important is it to you to diversify, to ensure that you do have cross sectors that are looking to come and list within NYSE?
Oh, it's hugely important. I'll give you an example. We're very large in oil and gas. We're the global leader in oil and gas. That's now a very hot sector. If we had ignored that sector over the last 2 years as oil plumbed the lows, $30 a barrel, we wouldn't be getting those IPOs as they're coming back. But now they're coming back, oil's at 50, and that's helping us fill out our IPO calendar because tech is relatively slow. Conversely, at the end of this year, who knows, maybe tech will be hot, maybe even some of those big names, I don't know, and oil and gas may be slow. So that diversity is very important for us.
How does the market play into all of this? Because we are at heady highs, we're at record highs across many an index. Is that a cause for caution or optimism when you're looking at it?
I think in terms of IPOs, because we're talking on the day of the Snap IPO, there's kind of 3 things that matter. The absolute level of asset prices, we're at all-time highs, as you point out, volatility, and the lower the better. And frankly, we're at all-time lows, or long-run lows at a minimum. And then interest rates. And it doesn't necessarily matter are interest rates high or low, but are they stable? And interest rates are quite stable. So this happens to be the trifecta in terms of IPO environment. Things are quite good. Now, if any one of those falters, let's say asset prices were to drop, that doesn't mean the IPO calendar goes away.
Okay.
It just means that not all 3 factors are kind of hitting on all cylinders.
So we're in a perfect storm right now when it comes to IPOs.
I wouldn't call it a perfect storm, but we're the trifecta. I just coined the trifecta.
Yeah. You heard it here first, guys.
But things are going well.
Okay, and so when you were looking for Snap to be coming and listing the New York Stock Exchange, what is it that you had to offer? What was it that you promised that made it the more obvious choice rather than a NASDAQ?
Well, I'm really proud. We have such a good team, and so I can say this with all due humility. Our team has created this environment where large IPOs inevitably choose the NYSE. We have 28 straight as of today. So if you look at a large IPO is generally raising 700 million or more. This is 28 straight, maybe 27, but you get the idea. And so we really had to just go to Snap and say, look, we care deeply about your business, and we're going to be there for the long haul, every step of the way, throughout the life of your listing. And it was made that much easier because, frankly, I was pitching it personally along with some colleagues, and we like it. I snap with my daughters, my 3 daughters. I'm snapping right now with my wife, who happens to be in Africa on a service project. So it was fun.
You get it. You drink it. You drink the Kool-Aid when it comes to Snap.
It was fun.
So big IPOs, are they here to stay for 2017? Not only just the lineup and the calendar, but you think we'll see some of these in excess of $3 billion raise?
So based on again, the facts on the ground, because I don't want to make projections. The vast bulk of the IPOs, there may be an odd exception, are not this size.
Yep.
And keep in mind, this is the largest IPO in 3 years.
Yeah.
So no, they are not IPOs that are planning on raising $3 billion, but they could. and there could be a few of those. It's hard to say.
And you were just talking about how perhaps you would see more volatility if the retail were piling in. Do you feel that it is institutional buyers that have been hot and frenzied for wanting to get into these tech IPOs? How would you feel demand, and where is the demand stemming from, particularly internationally?
Well, typically, and I worked a bit with the underwriters on this particular IPO, but by and large, they're the experts, and I didn't delve into it too deeply, so I don't want to project to your audience that I know all the ins and outs of who's holding these shares. But typically in this sort of IPO, it's very institutional heavy, and the retail will join in that initial IPO, in that initial trade, but then will come in shortly thereafter. But again, it's still trading right around 24, and so it's not the fear that somehow retail would come in and bid it way up or sell it way down. I think that process, and unfortunately for your viewers, it took 2 hours.
Yeah.
But that process of really kind of flushing out of the weeds, who are the buyers, who are the sellers, which is something we do uniquely here, it worked great.